Baba says, when you remember me, you draw my remembrance. That is, when you remember me, I remember you. And Baba always tells us that, in the world there is this law of reciprocity. So, whatever you do, you get back in an equal measure. And Baba also has given us this spiritual law that Baba comes to us from the soul world, and that is his blessing on us, that he himself comes and shares all the knowledge of the truth and knowledge of yoga with us. So he takes the first step in this manner. But after he has shared his knowledge of truth and yoga with us, then we children have to take the first step. We have to remember him first, and then we will draw his powers. We have to apply knowledge first, and then we will receive help. So Baba has given us this law that one step of courage from you and I will give 1,000 steps of help. But after we receive knowledge, the knowledge of truth and the knowledge of yoga, the first step has to come from us. And Baba says that those children who remember Baba a lot, they receive a lot of help in the form of Sakash from Baba. And Sakash is this extra powerful current that purifies us, that restores us to health and longevity. So we become ever healthy, we become disease free, we become one with longer lifespans, we become pure. So all these things happen with Baba's Sakash. But Baba says, you have to take the first step in drawing my Sakash. And what you have to do is you have to remember me. And Baba also says that those ones who come later, so we are all the ones who have come later. So nobody came during Dadi's time, or we didn't come early on in the yajna. So we came later. So all of we children, we have to understand this one thing, that Baba has sometimes told in the Murli that it is possible for the last ones to go very fast and come first. Yes, so Baba says last, so fast, so first. So Baba has said that this is possible. But in order to do that, the key that we have to actually take charge of is yoga. So if we have very good yoga with Baba, then we will draw Baba's help multi-million times and we will be able to go fast very soon. Now, whether you admit it or not, mostly the chart of yoga is not good. Yes, so children listen to knowledge very ardently, and the subject of knowledge is easy. But Baba has made a clear distinction between knowledge and yoga, and Baba says listening to knowledge is not yoga. So you cannot count the hours or the minutes that you spend listening to knowledge as that which you are having yoga. So you cannot say that 1 hour of Manthan class is yoga class. No, it is Gyan class. So your Murli, listening to Murli is listening to knowledge, not having yoga. So Baba says it is very interesting that when you listen to knowledge, Maya doesn't bother you very much. But when you sit for yoga, then Maya will bother you a lot. Yes, and at that time, you remember everything else other than Baba. Yes, so all the things that you don't ever remember, they will keep cropping up, and you will remember all of them and not Baba. So that is the work of Maya, and Maya doesn't want us to receive this kind of help from Baba. Why? Because Maya has been ruling over us for so many, two yugas. Maya has been ruling over us. And then Maya knows that now if they belong to Baba, they'll leave me. So Maya doesn't like that idea. So Maya tries tooth and nail to stop us from having yoga. Do you experience that Maya doesn't allow you to have yoga? So Maya, first thing what Maya will do is, Maya will not allow you to get up at Amrit Vela. So there'll be so many thoughts that will come and so many things that will stop you from getting up at Amrit Vela. Or even if you get up at Amrit Vela, there'll be a lot of sleepiness and you will not be able to have good Amrit Vela. So all these things are acts of Maya. And Baba says that you have to have a lot of detachment from the body, the bodily relations, the bodily religion, in order to overcome this pull of Maya. Because Maya comes through these forms. Yes, so you see, there was this one Mata, and she used to tell me that whenever she sits for yoga, her legs become numb. So, in Hindi we say pair so gaya. So, that numbness comes in the leg. So, she says, then I start worrying about my leg. And then I start thinking, if this stays numb for a lot of time, then maybe, my nerves will not function well. So, then I get up and then my yoga breaks. And she said that, Didi, this has been happening for a month and I don't understand what kind of Maya this is. So I said, so I told her that, you see, Baba tells us that we will have, so I suggested also that you could sit on a chair. Yes, so instead of sitting on the, sitting down on the ground, you could sit on a chair. But even if, in the chair, you are feeling that pain or something, you just tell yourself that my Baba is responsible for this body. I am not responsible for this body. So when I am following Shrimat, Baba is responsible for this body. So whatever will happen during following Shrimat, Baba will take care of it. And I have surrendered the body to Baba, so let me not worry about the body. So you see that you have to have a lot of detachment from the body, because otherwise the thoughts of the body and thoughts that have no logic, thoughts that are just the door for Maya. So Maya uses your body consciousness to pull you back from yoga. So we have to be very wary that until and unless I have complete detachment from the body, bodily relations and bodily religions, I cannot have good yoga with Baba. Because you see, I remember there was this one sister, and she used to say that I sit for yoga from 6:30 in the evening to 7:30 in the evening, that is Numa Sham time. I sit for yoga, and my son comes back home around 7:15. So he comes back from office at around that time. And what happens is, until he is home, I have very good yoga with Baba. But as soon as he comes home, my thought keeps going there. And I keep thinking that, maybe he is hungry, maybe he has not had food, maybe I need to get up and give him something, maybe he would be struggling with finding the coffee or the tea, and maybe he'll not be able to prepare it. So I just keep having these thoughts about my son. And then I don't have, even if I sit just as a rule, but I cannot have yoga after my son comes home. So you see that these are the pulls that I'm giving you very simple examples, but if there is a lot of body consciousness or relationship consciousness, and then you see something happens in the body, and then you can't stop thinking about it. Yes, even if there's just a sty in the eye. Yes, you're thinking about the sty so much you don't remember Baba. You're just thinking about the sty all the time. So we are so body conscious that everything that's happening in the body, or when we have attachment with relationships, then all those relationships keep pulling your attention, or there are these waste thoughts that keep pulling your attention when you have a lot of religion consciousness. So if you have come from any background, so let's say you've come from Hinduism, then what happens is, let's suppose you start to remember Baba. And I remember there was this one Mata, and she used to say that, Didi, I had nothing, I had no wealth, nothing. And then I started doing Lakshmi Puja, and then I had everything. So all my treasure house was fulfilled, and I felt like I have everything in life because I started doing Lakshmi Puja. And then she said that whenever I start to remember Baba, I start having these thoughts, am I leaving Lakshmi Mata? And will my wealth also go away if I leave her? And then she said, I kept thinking about these things and I cannot remember Baba. And then what I do is, I keep Lakshmi Mata with Baba, and then I remember both. And then she said, but I understand everything internally, but I'm not able to let go. And then you understand that if you are remembering a bodily being, then you cannot become bodiless. Yes, so and of course, you cannot remember that, you cannot forget that whole journey. So when you remember Lakshmi Mata, what are your feelings? So I asked her, what are your feelings? So she said, I have, this feeling that you are the one who took me from a beggar to this state, and I have deep gratitude for you. So I said, again, you remember yourself as a beggar when you sit before her. So how can you delete those memories? How can you, come back to the state where you think that I'm a deity and I'm a bodiless soul and I'm this seed-like soul full of powers and virtues, just like Baba. So you cannot experience your original powerful stage if you're caught up in this, worshipping of physical bodies or images. So this is what happens. So when we have attachment to the body or the bodily religions or the bodily relations, then they all come up as, they all become doors for Maya. And then they start interfering with our Purusharth, and they start interfering with our Buddhi Yoga. So Baba says, if you want to have good yoga with me, and only good yoga is going to, replenish you and restore you to health and longevity, so, or make you pure. So if you want to have good yoga with me, forget the body, the bodily religions and bodily relations. Yes, so if you forget the body, bodily religions and bodily relations, then how do you forget? Because you see, we don't have it in our sanskars to forget something. We either attach or we reject and hate. Yes, so either there is a relationship of attachment or there is a relationship where you have bitter feelings. Yes, so we don't know how to forget. Do you know how to forget? We don't know how to forget. We don't have that sanskar. We either attach and keep thinking about something, or we hate and keep thinking about something. So we don't know how to forget and not think about something. So Baba says that when you want to forget all these things, what you think is, these things are there. So the body is there, the relationships are there, and the bodily religion is also there. But that is an instrument of seva. So how do you detach from the thoughts of these things? That is just an instrument for seva. So you take care of it, you think about it, but you only think about it as much as required and not extra, because that's just an instrument for seva. You take care of it, but you don't fret over it. Yes, so that's an instrument for seva. And another thing is, you see, because seva is Baba's, we are doing seva because of Baba's Srimad. So somewhere, Baba will also help in keeping all these things fine. So you feel that Baba is also taking care of these things. So let me give you an example of thinking about bodily religions as an instrument for seva. So you see, some days back, when Usha Didiji was invited for Usha Didi was invited to Ayodhya. Yes, so she went there and she also shared some gyan and she did the aarti and she participated in everything, right? So she did not say that I wouldn't participate. Why? Because that's seva. So, but can you participate without having the knowledge of the bodily religion? You cannot participate. If you don't know how to perform an aarti, can you perform an aarti? You cannot. So, if you are there for seva, you are invited because there's a Hindu background, so you have to have knowledge of the religion also. And when you have good knowledge of the religion, then you are able to serve everyone better, because you are able to participate in those activities and then also share the true knowledge that Baba gives, because Baba doesn't give anything against anything else. Baba gives us the crux of all religions. And Baba tells us that, okay, these are the practices you're doing physically, but what about internal practices? What about what you need to do with the man and buddhi? What about the attitudes and the awareness that you need to hold? Or what about the karma that you need to do with body, mind and wealth? So, Baba gives us the essence and crux of all religions. And Baba tells us that मैं तुम्हें सार समझाता हूँ about what to uphold, what to do. So, think about that as an instrument for seva. So, whenever you understand something about religion also, With that understanding, you will be able to convey to everybody, what is the true practice that we need to do. And Baba says that in religion, everything that we do is in memory of, is a memoir of what we do in Sangam Yuga. So, when we see those practices, also we have to understand that these are memoirs of what we actually do in Sangam Yuga. So, you see that we bathe in Sangam Yuga. But who bathes in Sangam Yuga? The soul. And with what do we take a bath? Yoga power. But when we go to the copper age, we start doing that physically and outwardly. We start bathing the body in water. But it all comes from Sangam Yuga. So, when you see somebody bathing in water, you can just tell them that, you see, the soul performs the action through the body. And then the soul has to incur the residue of that action. So the soul becomes Papatma. And then when the soul becomes Papatma, then the soul has to be purified. And the soul can only be purified when the soul remembers Baba through the Man and Buddhi. So this is how you stay, you understand everything, you engage with everything, but you do it with understanding and you do it as seva. You think of it as an instrument of seva. You don't think of it as an instrument of your personal gain or practice. You don't think of it as something that will give you something directly, but you think of it as an instrument for seva. And just look at this thing that you see, there are so many people who are still, doing such intense practice in bhakti. And even after doing such intense practice, they are not getting what they really want, because what they want is super sensuous happiness and a deep sense of peace and satisfaction. But that's not happening. And although, there is sometimes you get some limited sukh, in the form of some wealth, some attainment, but still what you are actually seeking, that peace and supersensuous joy, that contentment of the heart, that keeps eluding you. So Baba tells us that you have to look at bodily religions and your understanding of bodily religions as an instrument for seva, and detach yourself from those practices and understand that these practices are mere memoirs of the true practices that Baba teaches us. Yes. And then Baba tells us that bodily relations also. Yes. So your bodily relations, just think about them as seva. So don't think about the person that you are serving as my child, my husband, my wife, my mother, my father. Who are they? They are souls. And whenever you are performing your duty, serving them, you are just performing the duty that Baba has given you. And Baba has given you the duty to serve the souls. And even when you are serving the bodies, so let's say you are preparing food for somebody, your attention should be on the fact that this is a soul, and the food should not only nourish the body but the soul also. And then you cook in remembrance of Baba, you offer bhog, and then you serve with remembrance of Baba, and also you make them remember Baba. So when you go to Madhuban, in the dining hall, all around, there are these slogans that are written. And in those slogans, it is written, Shiv Baba Yaad Hai. So while you are having food, you tend to see that slogan and you remember, am I remembering Shiv Baba? And then your attention goes there. So while somebody is having food also, sometimes you can just, in between ask, Shiv Baba yaad hai? And then they will start remembering Shiv Baba and having food. And the soul and the body both will be nourished by that. So Baba says, think about the relations also as instruments of seva. And then the body. The body is the biggest instrument for seva. It is the biggest asset that we have in Sangam Yuga, through which we do everything. We remember Baba. Yes, we do good karma. We follow Shrimad. Yes, so we do everything through this body. So this body is also an instrument of seva. And then many people's buddhi is caught up in with the money that they have. So don't think about that money as your money and an instrument which you have to exploit and gain pleasure. So that's also an instrument for seva. And I remember there was this one Kumar, and when he was unemployed, at that time he took Baba's gyan, and he was living nearby, so he used to come to the center every day, and he was very carefree, very happy. And then, what happened? He got a job, and a very well paying job. And after he got the job, he got transferred. And then, after getting transferred and with the job, after some days, he called me and he told me that I am feeling a lot of mental confusion and I'm not feeling okay inside. So I said, but you used to be okay while without the job also. Now is the job stressing you out or what? So I said, no, now I have money. And what happens is, Didi, everybody is only doing financial planning all day, my friends, my colleagues, all day they are doing financial planning, and they are investing here and there and the other place, or thinking about buying a car or a house, and then they are also thinking about online shopping, and all the time it's this. And I have also gotten into that trap, and now all day I am also thinking about money. And I think when I didn't have money, there was a lot of peace, but now the money is there and I don't know how to multiply it or how to use it. So that's causing a lot of mental confusion. So then I told him that, you see, Baba says that when you will be carefree and you will be able to remember Baba only when you think about everything as an instrument for seva. Because when you don't think about anything as an instrument of seva, you start worrying about it and you get attached to it. And the first sign of attachment is overthinking. So, when you are attached to something, you tend to overthink about it. You don't know where to put the line. So, start thinking about that money as an instrument for seva. And even if it's not getting used today, why do you need to just, buy something or invest it somewhere or do something? Let it be there, and there'll be some seva in which you will be able to use it. So, Baba says that we need to, in order to be able to remember Baba, we have to start thinking about everything as belonging to Baba and as an instrument of seva. And when you start doing that, your mind is free from overthinking based on attachment with it. And then you are able to remember Baba and draw Baba's light and draw Baba's might, and you will be able to bring about health, longevity, and a Sato Pradhan pure stage for yourself. Because remembrance begets remembrance. So when you remember Baba, Baba remembers you back. And then Baba also tells us another rule about another spiritual law which is connected to this law of reciprocity. So Baba says, those children who have been my helpers, those children who have been available for me through body, mind, and wealth, I am also available for them, available to them in times of need. So Baba says that when children who are helpers in Baba's tasks, they want help from Baba. They are unwell, they want some, they are not able to keep up their spirits high. Then Baba also gives them extra support, which you can call as blessings, which you can call as grace. But Baba gives it to those children who have been helpers in Baba's tasks. And there have been stories about Sakar Baba that, when some dear children of Baba who had devoted their life to Baba's seva, when they were unwell, then Brahma Baba couldn't sleep at night. And Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba would feel the pull of that child, and he would wake up in the night and sit in Baba's remembrance and take that power and give it to that child. And there have been incidents, where there was this one sister and she had some problem in the stomach and she had acute pain. She couldn't deal with it. And then Baba, he sat awake all night and he took light and might from Shiv Baba and gave it to that Dadi. And that Dadi felt like there was some operation going on in the stomach. And like there was some kind of subtle operation that went on. And in the morning, she was completely fine. So this is also kind of help that Baba gives to children who are serviceable. So you see, you want something from Baba, first you belong to Baba. First you give your 100%. You give this one lifetime to Baba. You think about yourself as Baba's right hand and surrender everything to Baba. And then Baba also gives this kind of extra help to such children. And if you ask me, as instrument souls also, when we see those souls who are Yajna Sevadharis, who take the responsibility of Baba's Seva, when they are in trouble, we also, we also sit in Baba's remembrance and emerge those souls and give help. But we don't do that because I like this one more than that one. Or this is my bodily relation and that is not. No, that's not the basis. Why we give that extra help is this soul is important for Baba's yajna and Baba's seva. So Baba always says that, in this when you build a good relationship with Baba, when your heart is connected to Baba, when your life is devoted to Baba, then Baba also is very bound by laws of spirituality to give you that extra help. And Baba says that, but one thing that we have to understand is, one is, who do you give extra help to? Not based on attachment or based on some other selfish motive. Because if there is attachment, if there is selfish motive, then you cannot be an instrument in the first place. Yes, because you are yourself a dirty vessel. So how do you become a good conduit when you are a dirty vessel? So you can only give Sakash to those instrument souls when you understand Baba's yajna and you understand that Baba wants this soul. Okay. And then the second thing is, when you give Sakash to somebody, Amrit Vela is not the time to give sakash to anybody. Night time is the time when they are sleeping, or when they are half asleep. That's the time to give sakash to somebody if you want to give them help. But the time for Amrit Vela has to be used exclusively for taking power from Baba, not for giving sakash to one human soul. That's not the time for giving sakash. So this is something that needs to be understood. And then Baba also tells us that it is the experience of children that when you remember Baba, you feel that Baba is also giving you things that fulfill you. It's not just your effort that you're making. It's not a one-way conversation. It's not a one-way effort. And I remember there was this one program, I think it was aired in Awakening many years back. And in that program, somebody was asking Shivani Ben that if we spoke to Baba, we shared with Baba, will Baba talk back? And so, this is very interesting that actually Baba responds. When you talk to Baba, you can also listen to Baba, can't you? So prayer is a one-way communication, but meditation is not. So when you have yoga, you can also feel the inspirations that Baba gives you when you open your heart to Baba. And many a times the inspirations are such that it had never crossed your mind. So, it's something so fresh and new that you know that it is not coming from my own mind space. It's definitely coming from Baba. And the same applies for yoga also. So when you remember Baba, it's not that just you are making a very arduous effort to remember Baba and there's nothing from that side. No. Baba is also equally reciprocating, and you feel that in yoga, don't you? That it's a two-way thing happening and you feel so fulfilled because of what Baba is giving you. Okay, Om Shanti.